friendly security agencies is worrying. This was during the event to mark the second Benedicto Chiwanuka Memorial Lecture held at High Court in Kampala. The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has witnessed the signing of an agreed minute between Uganda Development Authority and Yunnan International Coffee Exchange, a company in the Yunnan province of China that deals with coffee trade. The agreement is intended to initiate cooperation between the two companies to promote Ugandan coffee in China and the neighboring markets. We'll take a look.
Thank you so much. Okay, there we are. Okay. Thank you so much. This is now Uganda. For the mutual benefit of our two peoples and for increasing the income of the farmers and of the countries from coffee production.
In other news, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation's board has started an assessment working tour of Uganda's leading public broadcasters' infrastructure. The latest visit to Hoima, Chiboga, Masindi, and Arua was led by the board chairperson James Tunsime and the managing director Winston Agaba. We have more on this story.
The task to return Uganda Broadcasting Corporation to inspire Uganda in the region has started. The board of directors for the national broadcaster, led by chairperson James Tunsime, visited different stations to assess the state of infrastructure.
UBC is potentially a money-making venture because we have advertising, we carry equipment for other broadcasters, so we are capable of making our own money. But that is if we are efficient, if we have the technical capacity and ability. So to solve this problem, we need funding from government directly.
During the latest stop in Chiboga, financial challenges of about 12 million shillings weekly expenditure, whose availability would improve radio coverage and access of Star FM, were identified.
We want over 200 billion shillings to be in position to rehabilitate these structures and put the broadcasting equipment that is needed within a period of less than 5 years from now. Because as we speak now, we are really struggling with our budget. Our budget is still very meager, and yet every community in Uganda is demanding for service from the public national broadcast.
Therefore, parliamentary intervention will increase capitalization to Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
I've learned as we came to the board, we were told that Parliament also has their own radio. I would request them to work with us hand in hand so that we can have a partnership, so that we can be able to do the work they are doing in Parliament together.
The tour arises from complaints raised by upcountry audience over failure to consistently access radio or television services.
I would really feel pity for those that think it's a wastage of funds, because you cannot treat a problem without understanding the cause. When you look at the symptoms without finding out the root cause as to why UBC has been bogged down for so many years. Like you have rightly put it, yes, some of the radio stations have been going off. Why are they going off? One, the equipment is failing. Two, operational funds. So it is to abreast ourselves with exactly what is needed to make sure that we have service up and running 100% uptime. And we are promising you that that is what we are planning and that's what we are going to deliver.
Board members also realized that at Gilgil in Arua and Yibamba in Hoima, land belonging to Broadcast House had been encroached upon.
We have resolved that all the land that belongs to UBC should be surveyed, and the moment the land is surveyed and title is made, we shall be able to claim it from whoever is occupying it, because this is government land. We cannot allow government property to be taken by private individuals.
But in Nakasongola district, Buruli FM was progressing despite the obsolete equipment. Buruli FM station manager Catherine Atwina Agaba reported that financial constraints and political interference affects their work.
I will talk about the RDC without fear. He intervenes because every time we go for a workshop, he will stand and tell people that there is free airtime. Yet I have the obligation to make money.
To ensure perfect service delivery, management is proposing relocating radio stations to their respective areas to follow the Buruli and Mega FM example.
So it's the plan. Now the execution is what we are going to carry out with the new board, and we are very optimistic that we are going to serve this country and people will be proud of the national broadcaster.
In its current state, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has 4 television stations and 11 radio stations. Signet is the sole free-to-air television signal distributor, covering 56% of the country with its 17 sites, and will soon complement the terrestrial network with direct-to-home DTH satellite solution to attain 100% national coverage. Sudat Kaye.
Thank you, Sudat Kaye. Now, as part of the celebrations to mark 21 years since Star FM radio was established, over 200 children have been given free treatment courtesy of Radio Star FM in partnership with the PAED Medical Center in Chebando. These children have been treated various diseases including malaria, flu, cough, dysentery, among other diseases. Let's take a look.
These are some of the Star FM radio staff members together with medical practitioners of PAED Medical Center, the Children's Hospital in Chebando, who have given free treatment to over 200 children in this area. The free treatment campaign is part of the celebrations to mark 21 years since Star FM radio Mnyenye Gwanga was established, and the climax of the celebrations is expected towards the end of October at UBC in Kampala. The children have been treated various diseases including malaria, flu, cough, dysentery, among other diseases, and according to the Star FM staff.
And saying is we are partnering with Medical Center and everything good. You get answer, boy. Don't dare miss anything on Star FM. Yo! Yanza banabe abasobola okubeeranga bajjanjaba abantu nga batuulanguza eddwaliro n'okwongera okumanyisa ali eyo nga tujjaguza emyaka 20 gwe na awuliza Star FM alaba UBC TV.
The children have been treated various diseases, and according to Star FM, they partnered with this hospital to give free treatment targeting the underprivileged families. While at Chebando Children's Hospital, Star FM staff started with touring the hospital, and later Dr. Mugalu Jamil, the consultant PAED Medical Center, thanked UBC for giving priority to the health sector towards their celebrations of 21 years. Dr. Mugalu, however, encouraged government through the line ministry to support private health hospitals.
Government, non-profit organizations today may be members, but also in private setups. The good thing with some of the private setups is that the numbers are not as many, but also the capacity, like the laboratory investigations, sometimes they are on time, you know, like when you want to get any test, you get it immediately as you want. The only drawback is the funding sometimes. But now with the national choice, insurance coming in place.
Salon Kasibante compiled this report.
Thank you, Salon Kasibante. Now, in other news, Uganda will be the first country in East Africa to exercise early voting election administrators and security personnel should the government proposal on electoral reforms be put into consideration. Some election observers and legislators have backed the proposal, as we take a look in this report.
While appearing before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, chaired by the Member of Parliament for West Budama County South, Jacob Oboth, the Electoral Commission supported a proposal in the Presidential Elections Amendment Bill that seeks to make special provisions for voting for security personnel and others involved in the management of elections. According to the Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, Electoral Commission officers, police and armed officers should be allowed to vote early to avoid being disenfranchised.
Ugandans managing elections are also registered voters and also have a right to vote. We would like to exercise our right to vote as well, but we cannot do so on polling day because we are so busy.
Whereas the proposal has attracted sharp criticism from some legislators on its authenticity, many welcomed the idea.
You might find constituencies or areas that have barracks vote early and elections are closed. And that's bad. That is very, very bad. Because where the security is voting early, who will be the presiding officer early? Who will oversee early?
You cannot disenfranchise the people that are manning the electoral process. However, how do you identify a process that you'll use in order to make it watertight, that someone who has voted does not vote for the second time? That is the issue. However, early voting is a few number of votes, 80,000 votes. It's just minimal.
That's one means of cheating. If the army, if the police is to vote, let the Electoral Commission train them, educate them, let them go where they registered to vote. After voting, they come to do their security. After all, we are not mad people that we need all the army.
It is something which is good, because sometimes the day of voting, everybody is on our toes to make sure, first of all, the security. Then at the same time, to make sure the work goes on normally.
Let them vote early, because they have to go and keep security. That can be okay. But on grounds that some bit of transparency is done.
Another point of contention, Ugandans, the outcomes of elections before other Ugandans cast their vote.
They wait until the main election day and the votes are integrated in the other votes for particular polling stations and counted all together. Why this is done is to avoid any possibilities of victimizing the categories of people that might vote early: the security personnel, domestic election observers, polling officials, the media. These are people from highly sensitive professions.
According to the coordinator of the Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy in Uganda, Crispy Kaheru, early voting not only reduces disenfranchisation, but also improves the credibility of the electoral process.
You can see in the 2016 general elections, we had 68% voter turnout. That essentially means that if we had added on the votes coming from the journalists like yourselves, votes that are coming from observers like us, votes coming from the security personnel that work on the election day, and other stakeholders that are directly involved in the election, the voter turnout figures could have been higher than the 68% that we saw.
Kaheru says government should empower its electoral body to have public trust on transparency.
It's not that they do not want early voting as a principle in voting. It's about what other safeguards have we put in place to ensure that when these categories of people vote early, their votes won't be manipulated.
Uganda will be the first country in East Africa to exercise early voting, the rest being South Africa, Ghana and Zimbabwe. Bernard Higa, UBC TV, Parliament.
Now, well, thank you, Bernard Higa. Now, in other news, the judiciary has called for mutual respect within government institutions as a precondition for the rule of law. Now, according to the Chief Justice Bart Katurebe, the rate at which different government bodies undermine the work of the judiciary, especially security agencies, is worrying. This was during the events to mark the second Benedicto Kiwanuka Memorial Lecture held at High Court in Kampala.
In September last year, the judiciary launched an annual lecture in memory of the Chief Justice Emeritus, Benedicto Kiwanuka, who was reportedly kidnapped from his chambers at the High Court in Kampala on the fateful day of 21st September 1972 and never seen again. Accordingly, the judiciary has held the second memorial lecture running on the theme, The Quest for Justice and the Rule of Law. Former Chief Justice of Kenya, Dr. Willy Mutunga, gave a keynote address highlighting the importance for judicial independence. Dr. Mutunga also noted with concern the ever-increasing political interferences that have for long undermined promotion of justice for all in most African countries. He, however, challenged those still serving to remain unwavering.
They must speak with courage, integrity, credibility, and they become real institutions of consequence in Africa's governance landscape, not handicapped by fear.
Commenting on the keynote address, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, explained how, as the legislative arm of government, they are trying to keep Benedicto Kiwanuka's legacy alive. Kadaga, however, called for establishment of a committee for prerogative of mercy as a means of extending justice to the hundreds of inmates craving for it.
That we have demonstrated parliamentary courage, although the Human Rights Committee of Parliament was not allowed to enter the safe houses, but they visited every one of them. We have not had a committee. If it is there, it's asleep. There are so many people in this country, in the prisons, who deserve amnesty, but this has not happened.
Representing the president at the event was Vice President of Uganda, Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi. In his remarks, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni lauded the Chief Justice and his team for remembering one of their own, Benedicto Kiwanuka, saying his zeal and fight for the rule of law should be kept alive forever. Commenting on the unfortunate acts of kidnaps in the country, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni pledged the government's commitment towards hunting for the perpetrators.
We are firmly handling this lawlessness, and I would like to assure the nation that no such element will destabilize our society or divert us from our development efforts.
The event that attracted who is who in the judicial sector was, however, shunned by some members from the Uganda Law Society. But representing the president, Uganda Law Society, Hariwo Mugasho Francis justified the low turn-up of his colleagues.
We concentrated on protocol and forgot that there are instincts, there are occasions where events that led to the death of Ben Kiwanuka are happening today.
However, responding to this cry, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, General Kahindo Tafire, said he was not aware about the matter. Addressing his guests, the Chief Justice Bart Magunda Katrebe lauded revelers for their turn-up before expressing disappointment with the manner in which some government organs, especially security agencies, interfere with the work of the judiciary. Citing different arrests and detention cases of people in safe houses, the Chief Justice Bart Katrebe decried the deteriorating rule of law in the country, which he said is a big threat to the institution.
Public interest under this article shall not permit political persecution. Public interest under this article shall not permit detention without trial. And then it says under C, public interest under this article shall not permit any limitation of the enjoyment of the rights and freedoms prescribed by this chapter beyond what is acceptable and demonstratively justifiable in a free and democratic society or what is provided in this Constitution.
At the event, Chief Justice Emeritus Wako Wambuzi, and Kenya's Dr. Willy Mutunga were recognized for their efforts towards promotion of rule of law in East Africa. Dorcas Kimuno and Daniel Mugoya, UBC TV News.
Well, in other news, youth have reminded government to implement and enforce laws concerning the protection of the environment to avoid the disasters that come as a result of climate change. For example, Uganda becoming a desert. Speaking during the Global Climate Change Strike Day in Kampala, the Chief Executive Officer of Youth Go Green, Edwin Muhumuza, said that they have written a petition to Parliament to have their proposals like waste recycling for climate change mitigated, considered.
Carrying placards with messages like "We demand for results now," youth from all walks of life, including university students, marched onto Kampala streets, creating awareness about environment and littering. This march for climate action was organized by Youth Go Green.
When we don't get climate justice, we are going to face drought in the near future. We are going to continue getting landslides. We are going to get serious air pollution. Our ozone layer is getting damaged. At the end of it all, we are going to get direct sunburns, which is not fair for our nation.
They have written a petition to Parliament expressing dissatisfaction on the way the strategy for climate change is being implemented. They allege charcoal is being exported, an indication that trees continue to be cut. Use of Bovera despite the ban. Youth propose that waste be recycled to make charcoal briquettes as alternative to charcoal burning.
For instance, there is a law that says don't set up a facility in a wetland. That's one example. Then why do we have some facilities, for instance, in Ubc? That's a wetland. That's tampering with the ecosystem. In other words, we have the laws, we appreciate the laws, but I think they are not implemented very well. And this is just like a wake-up call. It's not that we are fighting government or any.
Climate change affects production and productivity, hence food insecurity. Government has been advised to invest in growing more food economically and the planet.
Government should pass the climate change bill. Private sector, governments and all other actors should have responsive investments on land. We should stop depleting our natural resources. We should stop constructing in wetlands.
This activity has been done in other countries, preparing messages to present during the UN Secretary General's Climate Action Summit. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
Thank you for Rida, and you're reminded that climate change is actually real and also part of the Sustainable Development Goals of 2040. Now, in other news, men and women under confinement at Luzira prison will soon come out with a lot of hope, skills and reformed citizens after serving their sentences. The Directorate of Industrial Training under the Ministry of Education and Sports carrying out an assessment and certification of inmates after training to enable them to compete in the job market after discharge. We have a look at the story.
Luzira Maximum Security Prison receives prisoners from all walks of life across the country. Upon admission, inmates are subjected to different rehabilitation programs to help them transform and to prepare for life after prison. Inmates are trained in various vocational occupations like carpentry and joinery, welding, mushroom growing, among others, as the vocational training instructor, Abon Geoffrey, elaborates. Private Sector Foundation Uganda supports the training.
We train inmates across the country because the instructors are all over the country. Like I was saying, in Ginger, Maine, we have trained them. In Mbale, Maine, we have trained them. In Soroti, we have trained. In Arua, we have trained. In Gulu, in Lira, we have trained. But this assessment we have started from Luzira, and we are going to extend to those other units also.
The Acting Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Patrick Byakatonda, says after assessment, the inmates will be awarded with certificates which will enable them to compete on the job market.
From prison, he has an occupation. Is he a carpenter? Yes, he's a carpenter. And what is his level of competency? Is he a welder? Yes, he's a welder. And what is his level of competence? So, in addition to gaining skills, they are certified. They come with a certificate, which is good for the job market.
Inmates say the program will prepare them to be productive and self-sustaining after serving their sentences.
The moment I get out, I may not have enough capital to begin up my own workshop there and then. But when I present my certificate to anybody who owns it outside there, will look at it, so you will just know that I'm very well trained and I know what I'm going to do.
A total of 755 inmates have been assessed and certified by the Directorate of Industrial Training since 2014. Henry Muganga compiled this report.
Recovering hope for the inmates over there. Now, Kampala Capital City Authority is coming up with regulations to control trucks coming into the city. The new ordinance will allow trucks in the city between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m.
We have an ordinance being prepared, and we have had a number of engagements with traders and truck owners. The ordinance has some suggestions and proposals of ensuring that trucks are not allowed in the city anytime they want to come, because we noticed that a number of them come and they are parked, they block roads. If they don't get a job to load items, they don't leave. So in this ordinance, which is likely to come up, we will have them access the city from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And beyond that, you'll be culpable if you're found driving a truck in the city center. We believe this will cause a bit of impact in terms of decongesting the city.
Let's now take a quick break, and News Tonight returns after these messages. Stay tuned.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
333. What's up with number 3? It's 3 at Airtel and not 4 anymore. It's 3 shillings per second across all networks in Uganda.
Make calls from Airtel to all networks at 3 shillings per second. Get to talk to anyone on any network anytime at 3 shillings per second. Tuanzi Soze!
Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
The Parliament of Uganda will host the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference from the 22nd to the 29th of September 2019 at the Munyonyo Commonwealth Resort. The conference provides an opportunity for parliaments to discuss best practices, governance values, and socio-economic aspirations of the Commonwealth. The conference will run under the theme Adoption, Engagement, and Evolution of Parliaments in a Rapidly Changing Commonwealth. Discussions will focus on climate change, innovations in parliaments, persons with disabilities, youth, youth, urbanization, sexual harassment, and separation of powers, among other topics. More than 1,000 delegates from 54 countries are expected, and this will be an opportunity for Ugandans in the social and economic sectors to benefit by providing their services. Follow us on the hashtag 64CPC 2019 and on Facebook at 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference. This message is brought to you by the Clerk to Parliament.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Paying taxi is a civic duty.
Omwezi guno gwa Septemba gugogwa omusasuzi w'omusolo. URA yinetegese omwezi guno okuzuula, okusiima n'okujaguliza wamu n'amakampuni amatonotono agafaayo okusasula omusolo. Jangu olabe ebintu eby'enjawulo ebitegekeddwa okuva nga 25 Septemba kutuuka nga 27 Septemba omwaka guno wano ku kisaawe e Kololo, naddala mu lukuŋŋaana olw'ebyobusuubuzi olutuumiddwa bomba ya bizinesi ku makampuni amatonotono nga lugendereddwa okuyamba amakampuni amatonotono okufuuka amanene. Si kyekyo wajja kubaayo okugema kwa yellow fever kwa bwereere, okusoma n'okuyiga ku bikwata mu kutandika emirimu emitonotono, okossaako okuwandiisa kampuni yo mbagirawo wamu n'okufuna driving permit okuyingira kwa bwereere okuva ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya okutuusa ku ssaawa 11 ez'olweggulo. Okumanya ebisingawo tutuukire ku email info@ura.go.ug oba ku www.ura.go.ug, Facebook @URA page ne Twitter @URA Uganda. Teweerabira Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority, thanks you.
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
Welcome back to the news tonight, and on the same tune. That is all we had time for now. But please do stay tuned for the 10 o'clock bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and on sign language is Elizabeth Nakakoni. From the team and us, it's see you then.
Senate Uganda is responsible for distributing the dictator signal to Ugandans. We are currently activating all upcountry sites to boost our coverage. Jinja, Mbara, Masaka, Hoima, Soroti and Bale are now on. Our viewers in those areas are advised to use your free-to-air decoders to pick the signal. Senate Uganda, your sole signal distributor countrywide.
me drink one for the road. Let me drink one for the road. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Girl, every little thing I do it for you. In every little song I sing it for you. Africa, Mashariki.
Welcome to The Real UG. I'm your host, Mona. Today, I'm really excited to host a very good friend of mine. You know him as a cinematographer and a poet. Welcome, Ness, to the show.
It's a pleasure.
Man, what's up?
Bezibu. Qualifying sa Uganda.
So compare mka freestyle out.
Akachi.
You're a rapper, man.
They said I'm a rapper, but they didn't specify what I rap.
Who said?
The people. But
you didn't come out to deny it. Okay, so let's rap away. You're a poet, so let's poet away.
I rap gifts, actually.
You rap gifts?
Yeah.
In this case, you're not rapping any gifts. So can you just come on? Like, can we get over with this?
I'm not good with freestyles anymore, but I can still flow.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. If I was trying to ask myself why, it's like the tears that roll in my eyes whenever I cry. When I see the kids on the streets without a smile. And one question that I ask is, do they survive? Cause survival for the fetus is what rules the streets saying. Day and night, these young lads go hungry. They aren't told stories when the dark befalls them. Cause when the rain falls down, showers them like the dogs. Maybe I'm a party too.
Yeah, I'm party too. I only understood one word: smile. That is all. The other stuff you're going to have to tell me.
You're not supposed to. Yeah,
you walked in limping. Well, what's up? Were you getting some kind of character?
I was playing soccer. I had a hope that I would still help Uganda qualify for the World Cup, but I was just told the tournament is on. So, yeah.
Ness, we know this Ness, and we love this Ness. We love your films. We follow you, we like all your comments, and we like everything that we know about you. Tell me, would we like Ness 15 years ago?
It depends on who meets me and where they meet me, but I really doubt 80% of the people that really like me now would like me 15 years ago.
What happened when you say a lot of people who like you today might not have liked you 15 years ago? What happened?
15 years ago, I was a totally different person from the person I am today. I'd actually backdate it to about 16 years ago, because 15 years ago I was on my way to transformation and stuff. But 16 years ago I was defined by the life I lived, by the place I lived.
Which
I grew up in the slums of Naguru. When I talk of Naguru, I don't mean Naguru Hill and stuff. I'm talking of Naguru Go Down Bank Village near Kasenke. That's where I grew up from. And at the time I grew up there, it was a den of crime. And it wasn't really hard for you to join in because you had someone to mentor you into that. And I should say 15 years ago, today you would call me a cinematographer, you'd call me a spoken word artist, you would name me any of those. Yeah. 15 years ago, you'd call me a thief, you'd call me a robber, you'd, all the sorts of tags they give to those kids. And it's not just a tag, it comes with the actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. We learned how to break into shops when we were still very young. We learned how to rob people when we were still very young. And In the place I grew up, it wasn't a story. It was nothing shocking when you went to school and came back in the evening and they told you, Gundi ba muse. And that's your friend.
Your
like,
boy, yeah.
Like you went to school in the morning, you literally left him home doing dishes or something. And you're like, what happened? He was caught stealing, he was caught doing this and that. And but most of it happened in my teenage, when I was in boarding school. Each time my mom came on VD, at least there was someone that was gone. There is a friend of mine who was literally killed the day before VD. He was called Siniku. He was shot at around ShopRite, Lugogo. It's the reason that's why they put those street lights at ShopRite, Lugogo, because it really used to be dark. And so, I mean, I was defined by that life. But yeah, they say change is a personal decision you make. I think I made the decision.
And you made the decision to change.
Yeah.
And how has that decision impacted your life today?
I think I'm who I am. I tell the stories I do tell from the perspective of what I know, what I experienced, what I witnessed growing up. In 2012, I was at a shop in Naguru, and I saw a very young kid, about 7 years old. He was doing what I did when I was 7.
And he was doing that to you?
No, I was there watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have passed stories. I wouldn't. But I was at a shop, and they came in a group of 3. At first, I also thought they were buying something, but I knew what we used to do. So there is this the butanda they put outside the shop that have bread and stuff.
Yeah.
So what they would do is 2 of them go to the shop, and one of them keeping the shopkeeper busy.
Busy,
Send me the stuff. No, I think it's the other one.
How much is this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as the shopkeeper is facing the other side, there is one the other side picking the bread.
The bread, yeah.
Yeah, so I got beaten for that on a couple of occasions. So I saw the path this kid was taking. To me, he wasn't a thief. And neither did I think he was doing wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
the action was wrong, but
Yeah.
he was trying to survive.
Survive, yeah.
Exactly. So society has really put tags on kids that make it hard for them to transform. And that's how I came up with my organization, the Get a Film Project. I didn't have money to give them. I didn't have anything. But the only thing I had was a skill in film and art. By the time I was still doing my degree in art at MOOC. So I decided to dedicate my Saturdays to teach these kids, keep them busy and show them something better. And 5 years down the road, it's a good thing we've done.
And why do you do what you do?
Every single person on earth has a story to tell. And your story is different from the other person's story, is different from the other person's story.
Yeah.
And most of our stories come from the experiences we go through. I would love to give everyone a platform to share their experience, because your experience yesterday is what someone is going through today, and
someone else will go through tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where you are today is someone's future. Like, they really want to be like you in a way. So it's more of trying to set role models that don't fit the stereotype of the ghetto kind of thing. Personally, I was a thief. Yeah, I don't deny that. And it's not something I say with pride, but it's something I say so that probably there is a kid that is out there and thinks they've done the worst. But no, I was a thief. But the most fulfilling thing was, there is a day my mom was really bedridden. We didn't have nothing, like nothing, totally nothing. And I remember I'd promised myself I'm not going to break into any other shop again. And I looked at the wire cars, the cars we used to make out of wire. Kids nowadays don't know those.
They don't know.
So I made my car and I sold it for 200 shillings. And I bought my mom Panado. I remember her looking at me and crying. That was the most fulfilling thing for me. And it got me to one thing. I think if we empowered these kids, it's all about empowering the kids. If I can empower the kid today, I'll change their mindset tomorrow. You get? So why I do what I do is I target the kids. I target the younger kids.
teri namugereka ddunda kirabo kyakutondera nga tamanyi nti kikugwana ono yamuwa kuyimba bwe nakuwa okukyanga omupiira mulala amagezi ga mu kibiina fenna yatuwa bulungi kusinziira gye yakutondera ng'alabe
the younger people so that I could change their today so that they change someone's tomorrow. And it's all based off experiences that I went through. Yeah.
And growing up around crime, should we blame it all? Should we blame it all on? Should we blame it on that kid?
No. I really think that's where society gets it wrong. Society chooses to judge the kid and not look at the situation. If we go back, I was born to a rich family, I would say. And we had it all. I went to the best schools till I was about 6 when my parents broke up. And life just took a turn in about a year. And we went from having 4 taxis and having all this stuff to ending up in an unfinished building in Naguru in a rainy season where when it rained, basically your floor was all muddy and stuff, and we had to readjust. It got to a point where the only source of water for you to drink was a septic tank from someone. And what we used to do, okay, it wasn't that you would go into the septic tank, but the septic tank had an outlet into the place was swampy, into the swamp. So that water that would leak out and stuff, you guys would fetch that water, put it in a basin under the sun, and then give it like an hour for the residue to settle down. Then you scoop out the upper part. And you're going to drink that water unboiled because there's no money for charcoal, there's no money for this and that. And life pushes you to a corner. And the only thing you see is what everybody's doing around you. Yeah. If the people around you are probably carpenters and stuff, you're going to seek a way out in carpentry.
Yes.
But if the boys around you are actually doing crime, and when as a kid they were doing good because they buy the latest t-shirts, they buy shoes, they do all this stuff, you're like, you know what, probably I could also try my luck. And society hasn't put up structures that enable these kids empower themselves. If we did that,
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
Then I doubt these kids would look at crime as an alternative. I have kids that come to my organization over the weekends, and you look at the kid, he's really weak and all that stuff, and you ask him what's wrong, and he says he hasn't eaten in 2 days. But his friend's actually in Nakawa robbing people. You get? But he chooses to do this because he sees where it's gotten you. And funny thing is, when I started up the organization, no parent wanted their kids to come. Why? They knew my story. Yeah. And they thought I was trying to recruit their kids into that. But it's after a long period of time that they saw, okay, probably I'm trying to make it better. So when their parents tell them about my story and they see me, probably they see me on TV, probably they read me in the newspapers and stuff, to them, you've made it in life and they want to be that person. So setting up role models in the ghetto is one thing that will help the kids grow. Not actually throwing the kids in jail, not beating them up, not killing them, because there's mob justice and it's real.
And it's real indeed. Next in the building, everybody. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, we are back with Ness in the building. Ness, how do the people look at you now, knowing your past?
I haven't let my past define me, which means I haven't let people define me. But people will always look at you the way they want to. I remember in 1998 when I lost my kid brother, and they buried my school uniforms instead of him. Like, it was just a young baby. And the next day my mom finds the baby in a suitcase after we'd buried the previous day, and there was all these fracas, and I was told from school to go back home before the school ended. And I found so many media houses, the radio stations and stuff. By the time there were very few TV stations, of course. But I remembered one of the TV personalities, who was a very prominent reporter at the time, the name I wouldn't mention, said one thing when I was about to get home, because our home was in a valley. And when we were moving down, one of the ladies said, "Oyo mwana ava kweza enju." So this guy tells his cameraman, "Yangwa mwangu tukwata omusezi."
Whoa.
Yeah. And they made a conclusion. It was hard for us. My sister dropped out of school. My kid bro dropped out of school for like a year because we're being bullied and stuff. I became violent. I started fighting. But one time the teacher sat me down and told me that I was at Naguru Infant Primary School. I'm so proud of that school because he's called Mr. Movidu, Teacher Movidu. He told me, the same cameras that are actually doing this to you are the same cameras you should work hard to go in front of and change the whole story.
Great.
So my entire journey has been trying to change that story. But I realized in the beginning it was me working hard to get there and change my story in front of these cameras. But when I grew up, I realized it's not just my story. It's a story of thousands of ghetto kids,
yes,
not in Naguru,
yes.
not any. It's very many people going through this right now. And if I'm shy to speak about that part of my life, because I can't only speak about that incident and not talk about who I was. So if I'm shy talking about what I did, then I'm denying a person an opportunity to feel like they can also move out of that situation. And I felt like rap, spoken word, and film were the only way I could express that. And that's why I chose those mediums.
And how has rap or hip-hop influenced most of the films that you have done?
Hip-hop has been of great influence. That's why my first 2 short films were spoken word pieces.
We live in the most educated generation that there ever was. The era led by technology and innovation. The most connected and social generation. Then why do we feel like we fall short of life's expectations barely before life kicks off? Maybe we missed something. It's the frustration of a 17-year-old rapper that feels so unappreciated after rewriting her verse 5 times and feeling like it's the end of the road for her. Or maybe a 28-year-old lawyer whose sole ambition is winning case after case, hoping she'll one day prosecute at The Hague but just lost 2 cases in a row and wondering if she chose a wrong career. A 20-year-old model whose dream has been featuring in a fashion week in Paris but just got turned down at 5 auditions. A boxer, b-boy, athlete, pastor, farmer, or a mountain climber that walked 2 weeks to the top of the mountain just to take a selfie for Facebook, only to check 1 hour later to no likes or maybe that one consolation comment that reads, "This is Photoshop."
I'm a proud son of the Bonfire, Uganda.
Yay.
Ugly MC. He gave me the confidence. I was a very shy kid. And I remember the first time I went there, I failed to perform. The next time, then Ugly came to me and told me in his tough voice, he's like, "It's guys like you that make the ghetto look bad."
That is
Like,
ugly.
yeah. And in his strong voice, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to make the ghetto look good. And I started expressing myself. I used to write letters to my unborn son when I was about 14 because I didn't think I would live to the age of 20. I had a drug problem. I had esteem issues. I didn't love myself. I hated my dad. I hated my life. So I knew one of these things would take away my life before I was 20. So I started writing those letters, and later I started performing them as spoken word pieces, and it was relieving.
Yeah.
It was relieving in a way. So I felt like hip hop and poetry gave me a sense of belonging, and it's had great influence in what I do. When you look at the films I do, there is either the soundtracks or whatever, the setup and everything, it's all hip hop.
Do you think spoken word can be a genre of film?
Yeah, I think it can, but I would think it would be unrealistic for someone to sit around and listen to a spoken word artist do the same thing for 1.5 hours. But with short films, I think it's already taken off. When I look at people like Prince E.A., Sully Breaks, George the Poet, they're all doing short films of spoken word. I wouldn't probably call them spoken word short films, but they actually do regard them spoken word short films. And at some festivals that I've submitted, they've put poetry films. So they haven't yet put it as spoken word short films, but there is poetry films. Yeah.
Great. So we'll be back with more of Ness. We are back. Please move along as we bring you more of Ness's world. So, you have worked with just one team. In all the films that I've seen done by Ness, you have just one team that you have worked with. Why is that?
I believe in mentorship. I do mentor kids, and most of these, when I started up the Get a Film project, I wanted to tell stories, but I couldn't tell the story alone. And truth be told, I didn't even have the money to get a team together and stuff. So I remember my very first team, I picked up on friends. I got Roy, who had just quit his job at MTN, the IT thing.
Roy
Chwintado.
Okay.
Yeah. He was sitting at home, and I told him, you know what, I'm going to shoot a film and I need someone to help on set. And he's like, yeah, I'm free. So I got him and took him, and we started from there. So I started building up a team. One thing I realized is loyalty is everything, and these guys were loyal. On that team, I would say some of them have gone up to do great things. Samuel Xavier, Chizito, Enyonyi Ajifura, Boda Boda.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Roy. Like, lots of guys, the Malcolms. And I stuck with the same team because, one, they believed in me. Two, they understood me. And I also wanted to see how much I could impact on them. But reason as to why it's taken me long to now do the next film is I got to a point where I felt, okay, now these guys can stand, these guys can do stuff on their own. And now I've been mentoring the second group of kids. So on my next film, it's a totally
different,
new. So that's what I want to do. And I have a teach one, each one policy. If I teach you something for free, don't sell it to someone. Teach them for free. Because at the end of the day, when you teach, you also learn at the same time. There are lots of things I've learned from people I've taught, and I also have lots of things I've taught people that taught me. So, yeah, I believe in working with the same crew because loyalty is everything.
Fantastic. And before I let you go, Ness, I would like for you to look into that camera and speak to the world, to all the people out there in 5 seconds. Yes, just 5 seconds. Go.
Everybody is born with a story, and we are all made of stories, past, present, and future. It's important that you tell your story because no one will tell it better than you do. Don't wait for someone to tell your story. Pick up your smartphone, pick up whatever you have. Tell your story. That's it.
Amen to that. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through.
I'm humbled.
And that's all that we had for you today. Unfortunately, we have got to go. Do follow us and like our social media platforms for more updates and reviews on our film industry. For now, keep those cameras rolling. We're out.
Africa, Mashariki.
My first 4G smartphone from Airtel is back. It's bigger, better, and comes with 5 GB free data per month for 3 months. At only 200,000 Uganda shillings, enjoy fantastic features on the phone, like the face unlock feature, long battery life. Mwana, kavolume keko. Live your life in 4G with my first 4G smartphone at only 200,000 Uganda shillings and get free 5 GB data every month for 3 months. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, dial *175*9# to enjoy free data. Airtel, the smartphone network.
That seems to be the honor.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV this evening, the 20th of September 2019. Thank you so much for making it a point to be part of this show as we organize as UBC TV to say we wish you success to all the candidates of 2019, P7, Senior 4, and Senior 6. Actually, somebody has just reminded me that whoever is in class, this is the final year in a way or another.
Yeah.
So we wish everyone the best in whatever they're going to do to see themselves to another level in their education system, in their education level where they are. My name is Michael Jordan Lokomwa, and as we do weekly, we come in with a weekly talk show, Pick a Point. We discuss a number of issues, but the target is that at the end of the show, you have taken a lesson for the good of your life, your family, where you are, Uganda at large. Now, every year we have people that sit for exams, final exams. We call it UNEB, Uganda National Examinations Board examinations at P7 levels, Senior 4 and Senior 6. If you are at home and you're lucky, we have designated this show for you. If you are a parent of any of these three, this show is specifically for you. If you are a teacher and you are handling any of these candidates, you need this show. So get that cup of tea, a glass of water or whatever, and follow us very critically. I'm joined by an education icon in this country. He's an icon because he has taught he went to school, he has taught in class, he has taught at university, he has headed schools, he has been a commissioner, he has trained teachers, he is still inspiring people. And I've discovered some other thing. He's an inspirer in as far as love of what you do is concerned. You must have guessed who I'm talking about at this moment. He is none other than Mr. Fajil Mande. He's our guest tonight, and for the first time after a very long, yes, I'll shake a hand on this talk show.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Mr. Fajil.
Thank you very much.
We are so honored to have you.
Thank you very much for inviting me,
yes,
to inspire, like UBC does, inspiring.
Definitely. Yeah. You are an inspiration in as far as one loving their field is concerned.
Absolutely.
What makes you that?
What makes me that started when I was still a child, because when I was growing up, I discovered that I must not be just a common person, I must be special. I believed it. when I was in P1 and P2. I believed it, and in order to be special, I had to train myself in a certain manner. There are certain things I did when I was growing up to including even doing physical exercise.
Okay.
These were things I did because I had decided to be a certain type of person. One, I knew I must be excellent at my academic work. Two, I knew I must grow to be at the top. Those are two things.
Not a follower.
No.
People must. If there are people to follow you,
yeah.
you must lead.
You get me? That one, or I made it my motto that I should always be among the top. So that is what, and then you cannot be among the top when you don't love what you are doing.
Okay.
You get me? I'm passionate about, I love it, I love education, I love seeing young people grow and change and begin to build this country. I love life, just like I love God. Are you getting me? So I love. You get me?
It is so common with you teachers, but even people in other fields, but senior people. How come you have not shared it with us, the people of this generation, to be with that love, that organic special love for our fields? Briefly, before we go for that special thing we came to discuss.
Yes, but for me in particular, I've remained there. That's why I think you use the word, the icon. Are you getting me? And the icon idea comes because I've been persistent on what I wanted. I've been persistent about education. Are you getting me? That's why I think I'm one of the Ugandans who have trained the biggest number of young people.
Yes.
Training young people. I will tell you, we are going to discuss exams, and I was sharing with a friend. Up to now, when I count the time when I was in the ministry, and even before, I've trained more than 10 million young people in preparing for examinations. Are you getting me? So that's how I've been sharing. That's why you see, I still do programs. In which I train young people because I love young people. So that's the best way. Recently, I was attending a debate at Bishop Stewart by about 22 universities at Bishop Stewart in Mbarara. And why did I go there? One, I am a patron of the debate organization that ran the whole show. And two, I love to see young people, and I went there to inspire them. So I cannot say that I've not shared, I've not actually shown to the young people. I have shown. I work with young people. I run training programs. I even have written books about young people and about parenting.
So I didn't mean you, the person, Fajilman.
But you are talking about...
I generalized senior people. Many of you find senior proud lawyers, senior footballers, senior police officers, senior doctors who are proud of that.
Yes.
And really, when you look into their track record, you just honor them.
Yeah.
You are the kind of example in as far as education is concerned, with many other colleague teachers of yours. So I was asking that you senior people, how much have you done to share that knowledge of loving what we do to ask the young people to see that?
No,
so personally you have done it. How about you other senior
it is an appeal we must
make. Is it us that are failing to take the knowledge?
No. It is a correct observation. And I keep saying it. For example, I am an author. I write books.
Yes.
Okay? And I have been moving around now, and even I can use this opportunity that every person watching us now, and even those who will be told and listening to us, the best you can do for your children, for the future generation of this country and for humanity, is to capture your good ideas and put them in writing. We have a problem as Africans that we grew up in a culture where we didn't do a lot of writing. And we call it, we don't have a knowledge tower. So our grandchildren, and even now our young men and women, don't have a collection of knowledge from which they can tap. So the appeal, the best way we can pass on this information is through writing. And I want to tell everybody there, please capture your ideas, put them down. If you can't write, record them. Our children will need that knowledge. Let us share whatever we've been good in, whatever we've learned. Let's share it with our young people so that they can continue enjoying life by learning from us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajela.
Thank you.
Now, Just a few days ago, UNEP released timetables. I'm sure whoever has a pencil is sharpening it.
Yeah.
Whoever didn't have a geometry set must be looking for it.
Yeah.
Whoever had school fees balance, if there are no problems, they are clearing it to ensure they are ready for the D-Day. But besides those basic ones, in fact, even the basic ones, you will tell us, what are the key areas in preparation for these finals? We have 3 people. We have a P7 candidate, we have a senior 4 candidate, and a senior 6 candidate. Actually, I know there are families that have those 3 in one roof. So, take us through that.
Okay, fine. First of all, as I said when you are introducing me, is that I have run about run training programs for candidate classes, senior 4s, senior primary 7, and senior 6, about 10 million young people. And I have always asked them, one of the things I've asked them is 3 questions. 1, why do people fail the exams? Number 2, what can you do between now and the time of the exam which can help you in preparing and passing the examinations well? Okay? And then, of course, what activities will you engage in? And the answer has been very easy. This is part of the preparation. These more than 10 million people have told me over the time, 1, that some people fail their exams, 1, because they don't have discipline, general discipline, misbehavior. They don't obey rules and regulations, they become indisciplined. Number 2, they are lazy. They are lazy. They think that exams are a big burden. They are not going, it's too heavy for them to carry. Then number 3, they don't know how to manage their time. They fail to plan for their time. They don't have timetables. They don't use their time well. They are poor time managers.
Time is basic, but
exactly
very key and
it's the biggest factor. If you don't manage your time, you are not going to do what you are supposed to do. You get me? Then another one, which they give me, is one that, number 5, is that when some young people fail the exams because they are involved in love affairs. That love affairs, the girls are thinking of writing letters to their boyfriends, boyfriends are thinking about the girlfriends, love affairs. This one, the students will tell you, it is the commonest cause of failure.
Really?
And I can understand it. I mean, you know, you are a PLE candidate. You are also a senior 4 candidate. You are HSC. You are going to sit your exams. You don't want to engage yourself in something that will take your mind away.
Confuse you in any way.
Exactly. And I must say, and this has been proven, love affairs are some of the things that are very difficult to manage, even with adults. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Yes. Controlling that passion, controlling that feeling which you have towards somebody.
And you don't understand.
You don't understand. Exactly.
At the level of
because you are just learning it. You are in P7. And I'm telling you, even some of the P7 children, they are involved in small affairs like that. So that's another factor. You get me? So now this is what it is. Let me just repeat it. Students elsewhere who I have interacted with at various times over the last more than 15 years, or 20 years, say poor time management. So you people waiting to sit for your examinations, now whether you are passing, you are sitting P1 to P2 or P3 or P7 to senior 1 or senior 6 or senior 4, don't waste your time. Learn. I encourage now people. In fact, I had one student, I recently bought a watch because he had lost his watch before. You must have a watch and you must learn to keep your time. Time is important. Every exam has got a time you've got to spend doing it. Are you going to cover that, all the questions in the paper using the same time? Learn to manage your time. Don't spend time on anything that takes you away from your reading and your studying. Number 2, avoid any other indisciplines like being absent from class, not listening to the teacher when they are teaching you, not keeping your books properly and reading them properly. Don't work without a timetable. Don't involve yourself in watching too much television at home. Don't be on the phone all the time. It is going to take away all your time. Please be disciplined. Discipline begins here. You are in control of yourself. You have energy. Don't spend your energy on wrong things.
Every bit you mess with.
Exactly. You know,
messes something.
It messes you up. So if you are indisciplined, you lose control. Okay? Number 3, we said, okay, there is another point, which the peer pressure. Avoid working with people who are negative, people who are poor, not poor academically, but people who are not interested.
Add no value.
If somebody is only interested in discourse, somebody is interested in discussing movies or sending funny photographs or reading messages on the phone, that is peer pressure. That's a bad friend. Don't allow a bad friend. Let me teach you one thing, which people have said. In Uganda there is a saying, tell me who you are with and I will tell you exactly your character. Then another person said, actually a writer said, if you are surrounded by 9 fools, you are automatically the 10th. So don't surround yourself with any fool, because definitely you will end up a colleague. Just surround yourself with the people who wish you well and who you've got to work with. Of course, as we said, don't involve yourself in any of these love affairs. Don't write small notes to girlfriends, boyfriends. Be friendly. You can have a good girlfriend, a girl who is your friend if you're a boy, or even a girl who has got a good friend who is a girl, or even a boy. But don't go the other bad manner side. Are you getting me? That will ruin you. And of course, we said you must have a clear timetable, because if you are managing your time, you must have a clear timetable.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fazio. Now, that is on the part of the candidate.
Yes.
But in making a candidate, there are 3 parties that are involved.
Yes.
Before even I go there, I've remembered something. You have so much sounded to consider my people in Kampala, in Mukono town, in Jinja town, in Mbarara town, in Gulu town. We have candidates in villages.
Yes.
Have you tested their lives?
Yes, I have tested.
Talk to them.
No,
briefly.
when I talk about the 10 million students I've interacted with, I'm talking about students in Arua. Yes. I talk about
when you talk about
Kisoro,
movies,
I am talking about Kotido, and when I'm talking about those students and what they gave me and what affects them, all children, majority of them, okay, waste time. They waste time either listening to the radio, funny music, not good programs. They waste time watching funny movies on television. They waste time watching soaps. They waste time going to discos. They waste time
even
just
at a critical moment like
about.
Now.
So it affects the ones in Kampala or even in the towns and in the rural areas. Relationships, boyfriend and love relationships affect all the children in this country, and that's one of the biggest threats. So I'm advising you, my little friends, your little boy of P7, your senior 6, your senior 4, and also all of you who are going to see it, this is something that you should avoid. Love relationships, whether you are in Kampala or you are in town or you are not in town, all of you. For example, if you manage your time, you don't have to be in Kampala. Oh, time is wasted everywhere. And remember, all of us have got 24 hours. If it is 5 minutes you are wasting, so I am talking about all those. You get me? What I can only add, for example, is that the children in the rural areas, what they need to add now is really practicing to speak English.
Okay.
Speaking English. That's one of the reasons why some of the children in the rural areas don't do very well in their examinations, because they find the English language very difficult. And this is because some teachers, many teachers teach them in vernacular. The children don't speak English. They practice in vernacular, and when exam comes, it is in English. So for the rural children, I want to add, please practice. Okay? Practice speaking English. Speak. It doesn't matter whether you make a mistake or not. And practice also writing and writing and writing and writing. Secondly, for the rural children and even the urban, watch some good programs on radio.
Like
For
this
example, you can watch news on UBC. You can watch news or any other television. News is very useful because it informs you about your country and educates you. There are some good programs, for example, on television, which involve, you can watch other young people doing debating, discussing issues.
Yes.
You learn. TV can show you various places. It can show you the mountains.
That is if you get some minutes for TV.
For TV.
Yes.
Okay. But of course, we
as
are
you're
saying,
having your lunch.
Exactly. Or even the schools which are boarding. By the way, I found out many years ago, I think about 10 years ago, that even schools which have got televisions in their halls do not show the useful programs. I tested with about 600 students who had come from various schools and asked them how many of them were watching news on television. Hardly anybody. There was no program for what it was entertainment.
Just as they term it in the schools.
Entertainment, are you getting me? So for the rural and the urban, please select some useful programs on television, particularly the programs which show you Uganda. Most of you have studied about mountains of the moon. You have never seen it. But maybe from a television program, you can watch it. Or you can watch a video which shows you the Owen Falls Dam. It can show you the rest of the parts. It can show you the Tororo Rock where they make cement. It can show you Kasese. It can show you various parts. It can show you the new bridge or across the River Nile.
Where the senior 4 and senior 6 go for field work.
Exactly, yes.
They can get more information
by
through
watching
the journalists on TV.
Through the journalists on TV.
Yes.
Okay. Or you can ask your parent, for those of you who can, to buy you some of these audio visuals for you to watch, instead of watching movies which are only, exciting you for nothing. You get it?
Yes.
So watch, and also similarly, you need to listen to some useful programs on radio.
Okay.
There are some programs on the radio which teach about subjects which are taught in the schools, for example. There are some programs which talk about Uganda as such. You get me? Listen to the useful programs. Don't listen to useless programs that will just take away your time. And also, whether you are in the village or not in the village, please consult. Consult your parents. These parents, mommy, daddy, they know a lot of things. Talk with them. Consult. If you have a senior citizen around you, somebody, talk with them. Ask them some questions about things which you don't understand. And also consult your teachers all the time.
We are coming to that.
Yes.
That is the basic start for the candidate.
Exactly.
What does the parent have to do at this critical kind of time? They're just 2 or 3 weeks to the D-Day. Here I am, I have a P7 chap in my house, I have a senior 6, I senior 4, or 3 of them sometimes. Some parents have them. What would you expect of these parents in a way of helping these 3 people?
First of all, parents, I want you to genuinely wish for the best for your child.
Not to only wait for the grades.
No, not for the grades. I want you now to begin thinking. I know some of you have started it. Don't say because my child is doing very poorly now, and even now you are still telling him you are doing poorly, you are doing poorly. What the child doesn't want to hear now is that threat of you are doing poorly. Wish them well. You say you have done enough work. I want you to concentrate, and I know my boy or my girl, you can do very well. I wish you well. Number 2, don't involve these children in a lot of family problems. Sometimes, mommy, daddy, you might have a problem with each other. Don't bring the children to involve them in that. And that takes away a lot of attention from the learners. Don't involve these children in the home problems.
Even
if somebody is sick a little or sick, leave the child to concentrate. They need to concentrate on their examination. Don't involve them in this, I am not saying that they should not be doing anything for those who are not in boarding schools. Are you getting me? They can still work in the home, but don't again take most of their time away. Don't harass them. Get them to do their work, okay? But don't involve them in your personal problems. Are you getting me? Even if you don't have money, don't keep saying, I don't have money, my child, what? Yes, now the child doesn't want to hear that song. The child wants to hear the song. We have used the money, my child, to bring you up to now. Now you want to celebrate by showing us that the money has been used very well. I wish you well. You get me? And then, of course, come on, please make sure that you have satisfied your challenges. For example, school fees. Don't wait for the child to be threatened at the school and even be returned. Try your best. I know it is very difficult for some of you. Pay the school fees. Buy the child, that boy, girl, senior 6, senior 4, or P7, or any other class who are going to sit, buy them what they need. So that hankering is not there. Buy them what they need. And also, if the child even rings you at home, don't sound that you are very, very anxious. Yes, sound that you wish them well and that you hope they are reading very well. Or if the child comes back home every day in a day school, okay, show them that you are ready, you wish them well, and that you are ready to support them even after they have done the exam. Even after the exam. Show these children that this examination they are doing is a step from this level where they are heading towards the achievement of their dreams. Get the children to understand the dream which they have got to nurse and help them to climb. Imagine that you are holding your child by the arm and climbing up steps upstairs. Okay?
This is what the parent has to do.
This is what the parent has got to do now.
At that very point, I am a parent not well to do.
Yes.
Even school fees is a problem. In fact, bachatu banja. Then this person needs a geometry set, a calculator, a lot of things. So, how do I comfort this person to understand the situation, but again, the need to score?
Yeah, but you see, parent, I know you can be in a tight corner where the money has failed to come in, but you should have prepared for that.
Okay.
You should have prepared for that. In Uganda, we have a saying, "Kono weka tukalinda kusaba taka." If you are going to carry a baby on your back or carry him in the chest, don't wait for the child to cover themselves with mud. No, clean the child, make sure the child is clear, and then lift. So the parent, what I'm saying, try. This is the time when you must borrow.
There is no reason.
The candidate has got, he is going to get a mathematical set. Borrow the money and get the mathematical set. Because you know that without the mathematical set, the child, the girl, will not do the examination.
Well, as
he would have done. In fact, he won't do the examination. Are you getting me? Because he doesn't have the basic tools. A child needs a pen now. Borrow the money.
There has no excuse that has to be brought up now.
No. Please provide, because these are things you have known all along. Omwana tomunyumiza kabozi nti sente zabuze ezigula peni. Now this is a pen. Look for the pen. I am talking generally as a parent.
If you need to go to talk to the head teacher,
go and talk to the head teacher. But you don't go to talk to the head teacher to give you a mathematical set. Don't go to talk to the head teacher to give you the school uniform. Because you know they've been wanting the school uniform. You can only talk to the head teacher to say, maybe, please, I am going to give you next week. You asked for a ream of paper, I am going to give the ream of paper next week. Are you getting me? But provide the learner with whatever it is. And even when you have provided it, don't begin crying in front of the child. Or you are making me very poor. The child doesn't want to listen to that. You get me? So this is not the time to lament. It's not the time for saying.
It's only time for
positive thinking. Get the child to think you love them. Get the child to think what they are going to do. The examination matters a lot in lifting them and getting better in life. Get them to understand that you have belief that they can do well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajirland.
Yes.
Here comes the most critical person in my view. My mother, however poor, has managed to find my school fees.
Yes.
She's going to borrow, like you have advised, to get me a geometry set, school uniform, and whatever practical item I need. She's counseling me and supporting me, plus everyone that comes around.
Yes.
So, now at school, what do you expect of my teacher?
First of all, this is going to be very, very strange to some teachers because I know they are not doing it. Please, this is the time when you need to get your children to relax.
In fact,
not in a careless manner.
Something small.
Yeah.
The parent has managed to give me everything before we go to the teacher.
Yes.
How do you expect him or her to look into the matters at school, my situation at school? Is there a need for the parent to peep and see what happens around me at school?
Yes, yes, yes. That's a very good point.
How can they do that?
No, that's a very good point. Of course, they are schools.
Because there are parents who pay everything, give you whatever you need, wish you well.
No, I think you need, as a parent, you need to constantly, not too often, to constantly go and check on your child. The schools are open. They will allow you to go and say hello to the child on the weekend without disturbing the school program. I mean, without disturbing the learner. There are some schools which are calling meetings. There are some schools, when you are called for meetings, please go. But you as a parent, okay, go and wish well your learner. You know this is a critical time. Itayo, go through. Don't spend a lot of time. Go there, okay? Of course, the children are not allowed to keep telephones. I know, it's the school rule. So don't say you will ring them, except if you have a teacher
whom you can talk to and connect to the child
and say, let me say hello. Because I know some of your parents, you have got good contacts with your teachers. Okay? Ask a teacher, and then you ring and say hello to your child. But if you can go there physically, please go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajel.
Yes.
My producer says we should take a break. The teacher watching us and you, the parent watching the candidate, the role of the teacher, you need to know what they have to be doing for you now. Mr. or Madam Teacher, what are you not doing? The man I have here is an authority. After the break, please do not go anywhere. He's going to give us more and we are sharing with you. We continue to wish you success. Let's take the break. Please keep around.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#, select option 6, school fees, select option 2, school pay, select option 1, pay fees, enter student number, enter the amount, enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back to school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money, simple, instant, secure.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
What is courage? Or what is lack of courage? We know what is lack of strength, but what is lack of courage? The inability to stay the course when problems are overwhelming or the journey seems long. In other words, you are unable to continue. And when you believe that tomorrow I'm going to break through, today you're having the strength. You believe that tomorrow is going to be breakthrough, and tomorrow comes and you're not breaking through, and if you're not willing to look beyond that and start another day to continue to believe that yes, it did not happen, but I'm going to pursue continually, then you don't have courage. My prayer is you will not give up on yourself. You will not going to give up on your goals. You are not going to give up on God.
P5 National Deliverance Day 2019 at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. Pastor Jackson and Eve Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Makere Kavule, Kampala invite you to the P5 National Deliverance Day 2019, 8 a.m. to 6 a.m. all day, all night. Come and be delivered from poverty, rejection, suffering, generational curses, bad dreams, false prophets, and witchcraft. Don't miss special prayers for your deliverance, marital, spiritual, career, and financial blessings. Entrance is free. P5 National Deliverance Day.
Uganda Uganda Library has reduced its fares on that day as little as 500 shillings going and 1,000 shillings coming back.
A very warm welcome back from the break. You're still watching Pick a Point, and we are dedicating tonight's show to the candidates of the year 2019. They will have other excuses if things don't go well, but at least we have given you a whole 1 hour to get to know what you have to do, who has to play what role, and how. I have Mr. Fajil Mande, like I said, an icon of the education field in Uganda, and whatever he says, it will be your problem not to believe him. So, Mr. Mande, you are a senior teacher. What do you expect of your colleagues handling candidates now, 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the D-Day?
The D-Day.
Final exams.
Fellow teachers, yes. One, fellow teachers, I know you are also under tension. It's not only the learners who are under tension, you also are on tension. One, first of all, try to engage yourself in some activities that remove tension from you. Remove tension from you. Because when you are in tension, you are going to impact or to influence the learner also with your own tension. I am saying this openly. Do some activities that, like for example, some physical exercise, some little bit of jogging. You do some little reading
to relieve the mind.
To relieve the mind. Okay. Then when it comes to your learners, teachers, I would like to request the children. I know I'm talking now like an expert, as an expert. All our children in the schools are suffering from a major disease of too much tension. That one every student will tell you.
Towards this kind of a season.
Exactly. It's not only the school itself builds so much tension because they are not doing certain programs that remove tension. Okay? So you've got to remove that tension from your learners. And one of the ways, one, introduce them to some simple exercise. I will tell you, share with you. When I was headmaster of Kitante Primary School, that's many years ago. Are you getting me? I introduced a very heavy physical training exercise. And my children always, the P7s, because that was a primary school and it is still a primary school, before the exam, but at least I give them another 40 minutes before they go into the room, or 1 hour, I will take them for simple exercises. What exercise does is to relax the mind. It relaxes the body so that the body is more coordinated, and it also sharpens the mind so that the nervous system is working and the blood circulation can flow very well and all the systems are working very well. Okay? Now, I know most of you have not been teaching PE, but it would be very good. Just take them for simple, not really hard exercises, just a bit of small jogging around the playground, just playing a little bit, running and so on, a bit. They will relax. Number two, please intensify. I know some of you have been doing it. Intensify group discussion. The more the children use group work, it makes them think on their own, it makes them learn from each other, it builds their confidence because in group work they are talking, and I'm saying they are talking because I know there are many classes where children don't talk. So the children are just, every time it is, shh, keep quiet. Are you getting me?
In the presence of the teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
So when they are on their own, everyone is free.
Exactly, they are free. Okay, so group discussion is one of the biggest strategies to get, or practices that can get children to think faster, to learn from each other, to revise faster, and to be disciplined. Use as much group work as possible. Now, organize them. Don't make very big groups. Make the children share in groups of 5. Guide them. Get somebody to be a chairperson of the group. Get somebody who can, and teach them how to create. Give them questions which they can discuss in groups. Then the other thing which you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, as a fellow teacher, is try as much as possible, to use displays.
What are those?
Yeah, displays, these are teaching aids.
Okay.
The classrooms now would be full of all the pictures or all the learning aids that you have used, because remember the children are revising and probably they didn't draw some of these teaching aids. So have a learning
Even
environment.
when they drew them, these aids can be reminders.
Exactly, these can be reminders. Create a lovely environment around your class where the children are looking at things and learning things. Are you getting me? If you've got anything, any time and a facility, try to show them some of the things probably which they did not see during the time when you are teaching them. I'm giving, and this also happens to the parent. The child could be traveling, for example, to Jinja now. Are you getting me? Or tomorrow. You get it? So don't worry, you can actually take your child along with you and show them a river Nile, which you have never done before. Practically. Okay? Show them these teaching aids. Sorry about the phone, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I'd switched it off. Okay? Ooh.
It's okay.
Okay. So, teachers, create an environment. Take the children out and show them. Are you getting me? You know, this is one thing we don't do normally, that we leave our children to study inside the classroom and we don't take them. There is a lot to learn from the immediate environment of the school and also further away. For example, even within 1 kilometer of your school, there is something the children can learn from there. So use that, and also you as the teachers, please create a chance when the children can discuss with you. Let them talk with you freely. Let them talk with you freely. Let them talk with you freely, and then come to you anytime when they want. I know this is very difficult, and also, ladies and gentlemen, build that confidence in your learners.
Okay.
Praise them when they do something. You know, some people think that if you go on cursing somebody will understand more. But if you show somebody that you've got some ability, the learner will build more. The confidence builds, and the children will do exactly what you want.
Now, there are some 2 teachers I want you to look at.
Yes.
There are some very tough teachers. Mathematics teachers, for example.
Yes.
I don't know whether everyone has the same experience with them like I had. They are always tough men and women. Is it relevant now? The second teacher I want you to look at, that good friend of mine who has not yet finished the syllabus, or let me call it whatever he has, to ensure these people had learned by now.
No, the principle should be, don't build more pressure now. I'm not saying don't remind the children, the boys and girls, that they have to pass. You have to remind them. But don't build too much tension in them. Relax them. I'll give you an example. Even when I used to act a lot, you never stepped on the stage to go and act before you relaxed off the stage. While your part was coming, I would go through some physical exercise. I would go through some movements to make sure that I am relaxed. Whether I'm acting the part of an angry person, I must still relax my body. Teachers, you have to relax the minds of these learners. They are under tension. Don't add more tension. Don't build pressure on them. Break it. I know you may want to cover certain points. Cover the points, but give moments of relaxation to your learners. I am saying this, viewers and listeners, because I know some schools where children no longer even go for break.
Because they are a candidate class.
They are a candidate class. Are you getting? They don't go for break time.
And they leave school at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Or even
so the fact
later
is
than
the
that.
children have built pressure in themselves, and this pressure affects their performance. You must break that pressure. You must make the children relax. You must make them learn to work at a pace which is good enough for them not to forget, good enough for them to work together, good enough for them to do their work. So create moments inside your class and outside the class where the boys and girls can relax. Tension never allows a child to pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
We want to look at revision. How do I revise at this kind of time, which you actually say has tension and somebody has to ensure he does away with that tension? How do I revise technically? What are those tips of revision now?
First of all, have a timetable. No, at this time, I'm going to revise social studies for primary. At this time, I'm going to revise chemistry for the O-level and so on. Know what subject you are going to revise. Have a timetable. Simple. I know the classroom, the class has got a timetable, but you yourself should have a timetable because you need to balance your revision. You need to balance all the subjects, and even within each subject, you need to balance you need to revise certain parts of the subject.
Yes.
So have a timetable. Number 2, when you are revising, you can use your group discussion.
Okay.
Because one of the things a group does is to say, so and so is going to present on this subject, on this question.
This person goes to do research.
Yes.
And in doing research.
He is learning more. And then when he comes, you are also revising, those of you who are not going to present, but you are also revising and doing research. But when he or she comes to present to you, you are all listening and following. So you can, in your timetable, have group work as part of your timetable.
Okay.
You get me? So revise in a group, because where you have not understood, even when you are revising, a friend will help you. Okay? Then revise also on your own. Then, of course, another thing you need to do now is, that's why you need a timetable. You need to read more than what you have read before. Read more. Read more. Don't say, I am going to spot a question. Yes, you can think about a question which is likely to come. Are you getting me? But your aim is to read as much as possible. Are you getting me?
Yes.
To understand more. Okay? You need to consult, as we said. Consult the teachers where you don't understand. Consult your friends. Share. Consult. Consult anybody who you think knows. Are you getting me? Okay? And where possible, get to do things which you have not done before. Let me give an example. Okay? There is no time, but for example, if you are in Kampala, why don't you, one of these days, just quickly pass through, come and see where Parliament is. Come and see where UBC is. Come and see where National Theatre is. And even in your village, for those of you who are not in Kampala, there are many things which you need to go out there and see, and even touch, and say, which you studied, which you had not touched. Are you getting me? Okay? If there is a river, go and look at it. Go and look at it. Okay? It will help you, so that, because most students fail because they don't understand the practical side of what they read.
We now know what we have to avoid.
Yes.
What we have to do.
Yeah.
The 3 parties that are involved critically.
Yeah.
The other person we have not looked at, probably, maybe it is UNEB herself, but in this part with the
but even with UNEB, we can say UNEB should tighten now. Make sure that you have checks and balances, and we are happy that you have introduced the things like no names, no school names.
That is where I'm going.
That sort of thing,
Early next year, we shall have the results for whatever they're going to do, released.
Yes.
But I can even foretell, without any spirits on my head, there will be withholding of people's results due to malpractice. How do malpractices get room, find room in a system that has all the preparations we see? Because in my view, UNEB has, after releasing last year's results, that is Feb.
Yeah.
That's when they end.
Yeah.
All that time, they have time to prepare. How does just a P7 boy get a chance of penetrating this system, and again he gets his results withheld due to malpractice?
Well, first of all, I think all of us would wish that we could get rid of all the thieves. So UNEB takes its measures, but of course the evil of somebody stealing or cheating examinations will continue one way or another. So we all pray that parents, you discourage your children from engaging themselves in any malpractice at all, okay? And that UNEB puts in place a clear system where any leakage, any mistake can be done, and that our learners also don't invent or create activities like carrying notes to enter them to enter with them in an examination room. And the school system works in such a way that the invigilators cannot connive to give answers to the learners. But the whole thing, what we need to do is this, that we, all of us, must keep our eyes very, very clear. Whoever is responsible, UNEB does its job, the police who are involved should do their work, the teachers who are selected to be invigilators should do their work honestly, and you, the children, should make sure that you don't involve yourself in any malpractice. You wish to do your exams and then you pass according to your energy, and those who cheat exams will be punished differently. And that punishment is not very pleasant, because your marks will be withheld. That means you have to repeat, and that's bad. So the best is do your clean work, revise well, read well. If you've been selected to supervise the exams, do your work. It's a big loss to cause a child to miss his results because they have been held.
You have warned us, the candidates.
Yes.
But most of us think that malpractices have big figures behind.
Yes.
We suspect UNEB officials and technical people. We suspect teachers, head teachers. And at the end of the day, it is a 12-year-old that is punished. In the first place, don't you think this rule is very unfair to this boy or girl?
Well, first of all, I understand. I mean, the education, the UNEB Act is being worked on, and we all pray that the UNEB Act will come out to really punish seriously anybody who engages.
The real perpetrator.
Yeah, the real perpetrators. Punish them heavily so that it is preventive. Okay. Number two, when a child takes part, because UNEB thinks or knows that there has been a malpractice when the examiners have been marking from the answers and so on, and even what took place inside the classroom. You get me? Now, this small boy or this small girl should know, and I want you boys and girls who are watching us, don't engage yourself in an examination malpractice. Don't carry notes. Don't listen to somebody giving you an answer. Refuse. Report. Don't look at your neighbor's work to copy what they are doing, because if you do that, you can't say, I'm very young. No. You are a criminal.
The matter is, you have done it.
You have done a wrong thing, and you should be punished. And the punishment for now is withholding your examination. But avoid that. Are you getting me? And we pray that all the others who take part in these malpractices will be properly punished, and that the act will come out and make UNEB more powerful in order to punish these perpetrators.
Apparently these perpetrators are free, because some time back we even saw these examinations on social media.
Yes, of course. Now we have a challenge which all of you need to understand, that with the advancement of technology now, with the phones, with the cameras and so on, it's very easy. This is what we are saying. We must help UNEB to conduct a very good examination. Police must help. We, the parents, must help by being vigilant, by advising our children not to engage. I don't know. I'm now talking like a grandfather, but I don't know how I can tell my child that you carry notes or you go and cheat in an exam. No. So we should discourage all that, really, trusting the system that UNEB has set, and then for us, avoiding any malpractice. By the way, I want to quickly say the malpractices which most of the students commit are carrying notes, pieces of paper, which are not required. Some students write answers, what they think are answers or notes, on their bodies, including the stomach. Don't do that. Then inside the classroom, some students look and peep at a neighbor's work. That is copying. Then another one is sometimes you can talk to another student and give him an answer. Sometimes teachers come and give answers in the classroom, and they write them on the chalkboard. All those are malpractices. Some people ask for permission to go out to the toilet, and they go and read notes and come back. Don't do any of that. Just trust God.
Because the result
is that your examination will be withheld. And by the way, it is not only withholding your examination, it remains a record in your life Nobody will ever give you a job in your life when they know that one time your exams were withheld because you cheated. It will remain like a negative record in your life.
Okay.
Don't allow that.
Last year, still this year,
yes,
on the release of last year's examination results, some schools came out and complained that they were undermarked. I want us to end with that. We shall get a remark, but that will be our the last point to end. Is that possible for a school to be undermarked?
From my experience.
Ideally, is it there?
From my experience, both as a commissioner for inspectorate, because I used to sit on the board of UNEP as a commissioner for inspectorate, but I was also chairman of UNEP.
By the way.
By the time UNEP comes out to cancel somebody's results, UNEP has done a thorough job. They have got what is called the security committee. When a red flag is red, when somebody detects that there is something wrong with this question, with this answer, they will always make sure they invite the school. Even they may invite the candidate to come to UNEB to make sure that what they found is correct or not correct. By the time they withhold your examination, UNEB is more or less sure.
There are reasons.
Yeah. They have reasons which are technical. They know there's been, I can't go into that because of the time, but be sure by the time your results are withheld, there is something wrong with you.
No, these people were complaining about being undermarked.
Okay, being undermarked. Nobody can undermark you because, first of all, your paper in examination, no single person marks a whole paper. The UNEB arranges it in such a way that a paper, for example, science or social studies or mathematics or geography or general paper, is marked by about even 5 people. Each person marks a section. So 5 people cannot connive or cannot work together to say that they are undermarking you. No. And then each person who is marking follows what we call marking scheme. A marking, what should be in the answer has been prepared already, designed the standard there. So you cannot. And lastly, nobody will undermark you deliberately because one, now they won't even know your name. 2, they won't even know your school. 3, they won't even know which district you come from.
So their business is entirely what you have written.
Mark. Are you getting me? So forget about being undermarked. No, nobody can take that because there are several people marking, and this information now UNEB has blocked it out. Somebody gets an exam and marks objectively as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajirubande.
Thank you.
Wish our candidate success. The candidate has 3 parties: parent, teacher, school. In a message as we wind up.
I want to wish all of you, my young boys and girls, I want to wish you good exams. I want to pray that you pass your exams. When you pass your exams, you have climbed another step towards improving your life. Everybody will give you respect. Even yourself, you love yourself more. So we wish you, you have no disability, your brain is there, you have been taught, use yourself, settle down and pass well. When we meet, say amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajirumande. I'll look for you with issues to do with the curriculum that the organizers are coming up with.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this special time.
Thank you.
That is how we chose to wish you success, the 2019 candidates. My name is Michael Jordan Lokomo. I have to leave this set for you to watch the news. He said you need it. So watch the news, start with this bulletin. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
333. What's up with number 3? It's 3 at Airtel and not 4 anymore. It's 3 shillings per second across all networks in Uganda.
Make calls from Airtel to all networks at 3 shillings per second. Get to talk to anyone on any network anytime at 3 shillings per second. Ha ha!
Airtel, the smartphone network. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for watching UBC Television. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and on sign language, Elizabeth Nakakoni bringing you the news tonight at 10 o'clock. Now, in tonight's top stories, the judiciary has called for mutual respect within government institutions as a precondition for the rule of law. According to the Chief Justice, Batka Turebe, the rate at which different government bodies undermine the work of the judiciary, especially security agencies, is worrying. This was during events to mark the second Benedicto Kiwanuka Memorial Lecture held at High Court in Kampala. Let's take a look.
In September last year, the judiciary launched an annual lecture in memory of the Chief Justice Emeritus, Benedicto Kiwanuka, who was reportedly kidnapped from his chambers at the High Court in Kampala on the fateful day of 21st September 1972 and never seen again. Accordingly, the judiciary has held the second memorial lecture running on the theme, The Quest for Justice and the Rule of Law. Former Chief Justice of Kenya, Dr. Willy Mutunga, gave a keynote address highlighting the importance for judicial independence. Dr. Mutunga also noted with concern the ever-increasing political interferences that have for long undermined promotion of justice for all in most African countries. He, however, challenged those still serving to remain unwavering.
They must speak with courage, integrity, credibility, and they become real institutions of consequence in Africa's governance landscape, not handicapped by fear.
Commenting on the keynote address, the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, explained how as the legislative arm of government, they are trying to keep Benedicto Kiwanuka's legacy alive. Kadaga, however, called for establishment of a committee for prerogative of mercy as a means of extending justice to the hundreds of inmates craving for it.
That we have demonstrated parliamentary courage, although the Human Rights Committee of Parliament was not allowed to enter the safe houses, but they visited every one of them. We have not had a committee. If it is there, it's asleep. There are so many people in this country, in the prisons, who deserve amnesty, but this has not happened.
Representing the president at the event was Vice President of Uganda, Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi. In his remarks, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni lauded the Chief Justice and his team for remembering one of their own, Benedicto Kiwanuka, saying his zeal and fight for the rule of law should be kept alive forever. Commenting on the unfortunate acts of kidnaps in the country, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni pledged the government's commitment towards hunting for the perpetrators.
We are firmly handling this lawlessness, and I would like to assure the nation that no such element will destabilize our society or divert us from our development efforts.
The event that attracted who is who in the judicial sector was, however, shunned by some members from the Uganda Law Society. But representing the president, Uganda Law Society, Hariwo Mugasho Francis justified the low turn-up of his colleagues.
We concentrated on protocol and forgot that there are instincts, there are occasions where events that led to the death of Ben Chwanuka are happening today.
However, responding to this cry, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, General Kahindo Tafire, said he was not aware about the matter. Addressing his guests, the Chief Justice Bat Magunda Katrebe lauded revelers for their turn-up before expressing disappointment with the manner in which some government organs, especially security agencies, interfere with the work of the judiciary. Citing different arrests and detention cases of people in safe houses, the Chief Justice Bat Katrebe decried the deteriorating rule of law in the country, which he said is a big threat to the institution.
Public interest under this article shall not permit political persecution. Public interest under this article shall not permit detention without trial. And then it says under C, public interest under this article shall not permit any limitation of the enjoyment of the rights and freedoms prescribed by this chapter beyond what is acceptable and demonstratively justifiable in a free and democratic society or what is provided in this Constitution.
At the event, Chief Justice Emeritus Wako Wambuzi and Kenya's Dr. Willy Mutunga were recognized for their efforts towards promotion of rule of law in East Africa. Dorcas Kimuno and Daniel Mugoya, UBC TV News.
In other news, the Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda has witnessed the signing of an agreed minute between Uganda Development Authority and Yunnan International Coffee Exchange, a company in the Yunnan province of China that deals in coffee trade. The agreement is intended to initiate cooperation between the two companies to promote Ugandan coffee in China and the neighboring markets. The signing ceremony took place at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala, as this report shows.
Thank you so much.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has witnessed the signing of an agreement minute that aims to promote Uganda's coffee abroad in the markets of China, Japan, Korea and Malaysia, among others. The agreement was signed between Uganda Coffee Development Authority and Yunnan International Coffee Exchange.
What His Excellency is talking about is not merely stories, but that is really going to be something serious that is going to be vigorously implemented by both parties for the mutual benefit of our two peoples and for increasing the income of the farmers and of the countries from coffee production.
The Premier said agreement will boost Uganda's coffee sector and the farmers' incomes. He highlighted that it will also benefit all the countries involved in this particular exchange. During the signing, Uganda was represented by Andrew Chilama, the Board Secretary of Uganda Coffee Development Authority, together with Edmond Kananura Cherere, the Director of Uganda Coffee Development Authority, while on the side of Yunnan Province by Kao Rongen, the Chairman of Yunnan International Coffee Exchange.
Now Uganda
The meeting was also attended by the head of Prime Minister's Delivery Unit, Professor Ezra Suruma, government officials and delegates from Yunnan Province.
In more news, Uganda will be the first country in East Africa to exercise early voting for election administrators and security personnel should the government proposal on electoral reforms be put to consideration. Some election observers and legislators have backed the proposal, as this report shows.
While appearing before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, chaired by the Member of Parliament for West Budama County South, Jacob Oboth, the Electoral Commission supported a proposal in the Presidential Elections Amendment Bill that seeks to make special provisions for voting for security personnel and others involved in the management of elections. According to the Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Ibyabakama, Electoral Commission officers, police and armed officers should be allowed to vote early to avoid being disenfranchised.
Ugandans managing elections are also registered voters and also have a right to vote. We would like to exercise our right to vote as well, but we cannot do so on polling day because we are so busy.
Whereas the proposal has attracted sharp criticism from some legislators on its authenticity, many welcomed the idea.
You might find constituencies or areas that have barracks vote early and elections are closed. And that's bad. That is very, very bad. Because where the security is voting early, who will be the presiding officer early?
You cannot disenfranchise the people that are manning the electoral process. However, how do you identify a process that you will use in order to make it watertight, that someone who has voted does not vote for the second time?
That's one means of cheating. If the army, if the police is to vote, let the Electoral Commission train them, educate them, let them go where they registered to vote. After voting, they come to do their security. After all, we are not mad people that we need all the army.
It is something which is good, because sometimes the day of voting, everybody is on our toes to make sure, first of all, the security, and at the same time to make sure the work goes on normally.
Let them vote early because they have to go and keep security. That can be okay. But on grounds that some bit of transparency is done.
Another point of contention, Ugandans, the outcomes of elections before other Ugandans cast their vote.
They wait until the main election day and the votes are integrated in the other votes for particular polling stations and counted all together. Why this is done is to avoid any possibilities of victimizing the categories of people that might vote early.
According to the coordinator of the Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy in Uganda, Crispy Kaheru, early voting not only reduces disenfranchisation but also improves the credibility of the electoral process.
In the 2016 general elections, we had 68% voter turnout. That essentially means that if we had added on the votes coming from the journalists like yourselves, votes that are coming from observers like us, votes coming from the security personnel that work on the election day, and other stakeholders that are directly involved in the election, the voter turnout figures could have been higher.
Kaheru says government should empower its electoral body to have public trust on transparency.
It's not that they do not want early voting as a principle in voting. It's about what other safeguards have we put in place to ensure that when these categories of people vote early, their votes won't be manipulated.
Uganda will be the first country in East Africa to exercise early voting, the rest being South Africa, Ghana and Zimbabwe. Bernard Yiga, UBC TV, Parliament.
Now in other news, the governor for the Bank of Uganda, Emmanuel Mutevide, has advised heads of financial institutions on the need for accountability to ensure financial stability. The governor emphasizes financial deposits if financial institutions have to minimize losses and smoothen the financial sector. Mr. Mutevide was officiating at the African Regional Conference in Kampala.
Deposit insurance exists to protect the banking system against the risk of bank runs. That is, unrestrained demand by cash. So unrestrained demand for cash by savers, which can cripple financial intermediation process disrupt the payment system, and constrain the performance of the financial sector. In the normal course of events, healthy banks are encouraged to lend the deposits that are entrusted to them in a process called financial intermediation, where banks make savings available for investment and economic development activities. However, when banks face difficulties and become unable to service their obligations and they fall due, their creditors, including depositors, risk suffering ruinous losses.
Of course, accountability is also key. We must regularly assess ourselves. How are we? Where are we with our mandates? Can we enhance our mandates?
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation's board has started an assessment working tour of Uganda's leading public broadcasters' infrastructure. The latest visit to Hoima, Chiboga, Masindi and Arua was led by the board chairperson James Tumusime and the managing director Winston Agaba. Details follow.
The task to return Uganda Broadcasting Corporation to inspire Uganda in the region has started. The board of directors for the national broadcaster, led by chairperson James Tumusime, visited different stations to assess the state of infrastructure.
UBC is potentially a money-making venture because we have advertising, we carry equipment for other broadcasters, so we are capable of making our own money. But that is if we are efficient, if we have the technical capacity and ability. So to solve this problem, we need funding from government directly.
During the latest stop in Chiboga, financial challenges of about 12 million shillings weekly expenditure, whose availability would improve radio coverage and access of Star FM, were identified.
We want over 200 billion shillings to be in position to rehabilitate these structures and put the broadcasting equipment that is needed within a period of less than 5 years from now. Because as we speak now, we are really struggling with our budget. Our budget is still very meager, and yet every community in Uganda is demanding for service from the public national broadcast.
Therefore, parliamentary intervention will increase capitalization to Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
I've learned as we came to the board, we were told that Parliament also has their own radio. I would request them to work with us hand in hand so that we can have a partnership, so that we can be able to do the work they are doing in Parliament together.
The tour arises from complaints raised by upcountry audience over failure to consistently access radio or television services.
I would really feel pity for those that think it's a wastage of funds, because you cannot treat a problem without understanding the cause. When you look at the symptoms without finding out the root cause as to why UBC has been bogged down for so many years. Like you have rightly put it, yes, some of the radio stations have been going off. Why are they going off? One, the equipment is failing. Two, operational funds. So it is to abreast ourselves with exactly what is needed to make sure that we have service up and running 100% uptime. And we are promising you that that is what we are planning, and that's what we are going to deliver.
Board members also realized that at Gilgil in Arua and Yibamba in Hoima, land belonging to Broadcast House had been encroached upon.
We have resolved that all the land that belongs to UBC should be surveyed, and the moment the land is surveyed and titles made, we shall be able to claim it from whoever is occupying it, because this is government land. We cannot allow government property to be taken by private individuals.
It's the kind of music we play from. But in Nakasongola district, Buruli FM was progressing despite the obsolete equipment. Buruli FM station manager Catherine Atwina Agaba reported that financial constraints and political interference affects their work.
I will talk about the RDC without fear. He intervenes because every time we go for a workshop, he will stand and tell people that there is free airtime. yet I have the obligation to make money.
To ensure perfect service delivery, management is proposing relocating radio stations to their respective areas to follow the Bururi and Mega FM example.
So it's the plan. Now the execution is what we are going to carry out with the new board, and we are very optimistic that we are going to serve this country and people will be proud of the national broadcaster.
In its current state, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has 4 television stations and 11 radio stations. Signet is the sole free-to-air television signal distributor, covering 56% of the country with its 17 sites, and will soon complement the terrestrial network with direct-to-home DTH satellite solution to attain 100% national coverage. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much, Sudat Kaye. Now, as part of the celebrations to mark 21 years since Star FM Radio was established, over 200 children have been given free treatment courtesy of Radio Star FM in partnership with Payed Medical Center in Chebando. These children have been treated various diseases including malaria, flu, cough, dysentery, among other diseases.
These are some of the Star FM radio staff members together with medical practitioners of Payed Medical Center, the Children's Hospital in Chebando, who have given free treatment to over 200 children in this area. The free treatment campaign is part of the celebrations to mark 21 years since Star FM Radio in Gwanga was established, and the climax of the celebrations is expected towards the end of October at UBC in Kampala. The children have been treated various diseases including malaria, flu, cough, dysentery, among other diseases, and according to the Star FM staff.
Is we are partnering with Payed Medical Center and everything good. You get on some boy, don't dare miss anything on Star FM. Yo!
bajjanjaba abantu nga batuulanguza eddwaliro n'okwongera okumanyisa ali eyo nga tujjaguza emyaka 20 gwe na awuliza Star FM alaba UBC TV tuli basanyufu nnyo okutegeeza nti Star ewezeza emyaka 20.
The children have been treated various diseases, and according to Star FM, they partnered with this hospital to give free treatment targeting the underprivileged families. While at Chebando Children's Hospital, Star FM staff started with touring the hospital, and later Dr. Mugalu Jamil, the consultant Payed Medical Center, thanked UBC for giving priority to the health sector towards their celebrations of 21 years. Dr. Mugalu, however, encouraged government through the Line Ministry to support private health hospitals.
Government, non-profit organizations today, maybe Mengo, but also in private setups. The good thing with some of the private setups is that the numbers aren't as many, but also the capacity, like the laboratory investigations, sometimes they are on time, you know, like when you want to get any test, you get it immediately as you want. The only drawback is the funding sometimes. But now with the national insurance coming in place.
Salon Kaswante compiled this report.
Youth have reminded government to implement and enforce laws concerning protection of the environment to avoid the disasters that come as a result of climate change, for instance, Uganda becoming a desert. Now, speaking during the Global Climate Strike Day in Kampala, the Chief Executive Officer of Youth Go Green, Edwin Muhumuza, said that they have written a petition to Parliament to have their proposals like waste recycling for climate change mitigation considered. Let's take a look.
Carrying placards with messages like "We demand for results now," youth from all walks of life, including university students, marched onto Kampala streets, creating awareness about environment and littering. This march for climate action was organized by Youth Go Green.
When we don't get climate justice, we are going to face drought in the near future. We are going to continue getting landslides. We are going to get serious air pollution. Our ozone layer is getting damaged. At the end of it all, we are going to get direct sunburns, which is not fair for our nation.
They have written a petition to Parliament expressing dissatisfaction on the way the strategy for climate change is being implemented. They allege charcoal is being exported, an indication that trees continue to be cut, use of Bovera despite the ban. Youth propose that waste be recycled to make charcoal briquettes as alternative to charcoal burning.
For instance, there is a law that says don't set up a facility in a wetland. That's one example. Then why do we have some facilities, for instance, in Ubc? That's a wetland. That's tampering with the ecosystem. In other words, we have the laws, we appreciate the laws, but I think they are not implemented very well. And this is just like a wake-up call. It's not that we are fighting government or any.
Climate change affects production and productivity, hence food insecurity. Government has been advised to invest in growing more food economically and the planet.
Government should pass the climate change bill. Private sector, government and all other actors should have responsive investments on land. We should stop depleting our natural resources. We should stop constructing in wetlands.
This activity has been done in other countries, preparing messages to present during the UN Secretary General's Climate Action Summit. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
Now in other news, men and women under confinement at Luzira prison will soon come out with a lot of hope, skilled and reformed citizens after serving their sentences. The Directorate of the Industrial Training under the Ministry of Education and Sports is carrying out an assessment and certification of inmates after training them to enable them to compete on the job market after discharge. Let's take a look.
Luzira Maximum Security Prison receives prisoners from all walks of life across the country. Upon admission, inmates are subjected to different rehabilitation programs to help them transform and to prepare for life after prison. Inmates are trained in various vocational occupations like carpentry and joinery, welding, mushroom growing among others, as the vocational training instructor Abon Geoffrey elaborates. Private Sector Foundation Uganda supports the training.
We train inmates across the country because the instructors are all over the country. Like I was saying, in Ginger, Maine, we have trained them. In Mbale, Maine, we have trained them. In Soroti, we have trained. In Arua, we have trained. In Gulu, in Lira, we have trained. But this assessment we have started from Luzira, and we are going to extend to those other units also.
The Acting Director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Patrick Byakatonda says, after assessment, the inmates will be awarded with certificates which will enable them to compete on the job market.
From prison, he has an occupation. Is he a carpenter? Yes, he's a carpenter. And what is his level of competency? Is he a welder? Yes, he's a welder. And what is his level of competence? So, in addition to gaining skills, they are certified. They come with a certificate, which is good for the job market.
Inmates say the program will prepare them to be productive and self-sustaining after serving their sentences.
The moment I get out, I may not have enough capital to begin up my own workshop there and then. But when I present my certificate to anybody who owns it outside there, will look at it, so you will just know that I'm very well trained and I know what I'm going to do.
A total of 755 inmates have been assessed and certified by the Directorate of Industrial Training since 2014. Henry Muganga compiled this report.
Kampala Capital City Authority is coming up with regulations to control trucks coming into the city. The new ordinance will allow trucks in the city between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. We'll take a look.
We have an ordinance being prepared, and we have had a number of engagements with traders and truck owners. The ordinance has some suggestions and proposals of ensuring that trucks are not allowed in the city anytime they want to come, because we notice that a number of them come and they are parked, they block roads. If they don't get a job to load items, they don't leave. So in this ordinance, which is likely to come up, we will have them access the city from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And beyond that, you'll be culpable if you're found driving a truck in the city center. We believe this will cause a bit of impact in terms of decongesting the city.
Efforts to decongest the city right there by KCCA. Let's now take a quick break and be back with more news tonight. Don't go far.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Sir Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Does heartburn stop you from eating the things you love? Eating too fast, alcohol or spicy food can trigger acidity, heartburn, indigestion or flatulence. Your best bet is Better Cool. Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
I'm paying taxi, it's a civic duty.
This September is all about you. URA has prepared this month to identify, recognize, and celebrate compliant small to medium enterprises, SMEs. Come and access a number of activities lined up from the 25th to 27th September at Kolo Independence Grounds, featuring the Bombaya Business Summit on SME business success. That's not all. There will be a host of free services like yellow fever vaccination, an employment hub with jobs and free career guidance, instant business registration, and issuance of driving permits. These activities will run daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Entrance is free. For more information, email info@ura.go.ug or visit our website www.ura.go.ug, Facebook at URA page, and Twitter at URA Uganda. Developing Uganda together.
Welcome back to the news tonight. You're still watching UBC TV here with me, Wadulo Makanold, and Elizabeth Nakakoni in sign language. Now in business, as Parliament of Uganda prepares to receive over 1,000 delegates from various Commonwealth countries for the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference, the tourism's private sector is bracing to tap into the opportunity to market destination Uganda. Now this comes days after the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities held its sector review conference where stakeholders were encouraged to adopt smart and aggressive marketing strategies.
It is almost no coincidence that the tourism sector review comes days before the International Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference.
We are very excited to see that Uganda was chosen to host the 64th Commonwealth Parliamentary meeting. And our members are very responsive. They have already prepared some packages for the guests not to be bored, especially in the evenings after their meetings. Some can even come before and have pre-conference tours within the city and around the city. We also have packages for those who can even stay longer, because we encourage people to stay longer and be able to visit and enjoy our country, Uganda.
Boasting of receiving over 1.8 million tourists in the financial year 2018, this has prompted the sector to make more effective linkages on the global market.
So we do this in partnership with what we call MDRs, Market Destination Representatives, and we have one in North America, looking at the American and the Canadian market. We have one in the UK, looking at the UK and the Irish market. We have one in Germany, looking at the German-speaking markets, that is Switzerland, Germany and Austria. We also have one in the States, the Gulf states, looking at the Middle East. We have in Japan.
Despite posing as a lucrative opportunity for the local tourist operators, it is a challenging opportunity for the sector to prove itself worthy of a world-class tourism experience.
We have carried out training programs. We are bringing them closer to be able to benefit all the people in the value chain in the tourism industry, especially the communities living around the park. For instance, if one of the members owns a lodge near one of the protected areas, we encourage them to source products from the community so that they can also be able to get a livelihood from the tourism industry and be able to appreciate it and protect our wildlife and the biodiversity.
Over 1,000 delegates are expected to attend the week-long conference. It is key that the tourism sector leverages the diversity of the attractions the country holds.
Uganda Electricity Generation Company management team has toured the Isimba hydroelectric power station to ascertain the state of its operation. Now commissioned by the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni early this year, the plant costs $568 million, as Dennis Sigwa reports.
It's exactly 183 days after the commissioning of the 183 megawatts Isimba Hydro Power Station, and according to Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited, the systems here are running flawlessly.
Isimba Hydroelectric Power Station in Kayunga District has been operating for about 6 months. The facility and its operations remain in top form as the supervision of the contractor in the liability period continues.
The plant has been working without any problem, and we are invoicing UETCL, and from the revenues generated out of the sale of power here, we should be able to pay the loan without any problem.
Isimba is a 183.2 megawatts hydropower plant located about 50 kilometers from the Owen Falls Power Dam in Jinja. Launched in March 2019, the newest power plant boosted Uganda's power generation capacity to about 1,200 megawatts. Although the power plant has an installed capacity of 183 megawatts, a quick check on the production panel shows that only 3 out of 4 units are running, adding at least 137 megawatts to the power grid.
Our supply of electricity must be equal to the demand. There is no one who stocks electricity and keeps it in a depot or in a store waiting for a rainy day. So what the system demands of us, what you, the consumers of electricity, demand of us, is what we will give you.
To help facilitate the smooth operations of Isimba, Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited has started constructing permanent staff housing.
But the biggest challenge we have been having on this site is that all our staff have been commuting to Kampala and to Jinja because the employers' facilities have never been built. Now today we are doing groundbreaking to start constructing the first phase of the employers camp, so that you have a motivated workforce that is settled on site and is focused on running the plant more efficiently.
Dennis Ikowa for UBC News at Isimba.
And now in more business news, car dealers under the umbrella Associated Motor Dealers have advised government to resume inspection of vehicles and to avoid a situation of dangerous mechanical conditions on the road. The car dealers now want seminars organized in various districts to sensitize drivers and road users on the traffic laws, among other related issues. Let's take a look.
Associated Motor Dealers Francis Kanakulia says despite inspection of vehicles, government should also organize several seminars across the country aimed at sensitizing motorists about traffic laws.
On the roads would come down the number of accidents. Why? Some of these vehicles that cause some of the accidents are in solid state. We believe if inspection went on, some of these cars will be phased out simply and slowly, and then we will avoid some of these accidents. We urge government that they will put in more pressure and more effort so that we resume back the inspection policy.
Kanakulia says over 5,000 cars have been impounded in Mombasa and want motor dealers to pair up and bring on the vehicles to avoid losses by 31st December.
Bakozesa buno obumotoka obwa ttani emu ttani bbiri tebabukkiriza tubuyingize ate nga ezituukana n'emyaka zibeera mu miliyoni 6
gyandibadde mirungi gireeta naye obuzibu bwe tulina emmotoka abantu babadde bamanyidde kati motoka nga wiiki baguzi bamanyidde gigula miliyoni 2.
I'm Nafka Farida and Salome Basmati.
Kampala Capital City Authority is rebranding early next month. The authority is to change from the yellow enforcement attire to a blue attire. The institution is now intensifying its mandate to prepare its teams and public on the journey of rebranding. We caught up with KCCA's publicist, Peter Kawuju.
We have an ordinance being prepared, and we have had a number of engagements with traders and truck owners. The ordinance has some suggestions and proposals of ensuring that trucks are not allowed in the city anytime they want to come, because we noticed that a number of them come and they are parked, they block roads. If they don't get a job to load items, they don't leave. So in this ordinance, which is likely to come up, we will have them access the city from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And beyond that, you'll be culpable if you're found driving a truck in the city center. We believe this will cause a bit of impact in terms of decongesting the city.
And now on the international scene, the potential dangers of vaping are making headlines around the world. An outbreak of a lung disease among users of electronic cigarettes has led to the death of hundreds, including many teenagers. India has banned all e-cigarettes, while 2 U.S. states have banned flavored vape products, as this report shows.
The e-cigarette industry is under pressure. Although this vapor continues to use his device, there's a growing backlash against vaping. An outbreak of lung disease among users of electronic cigarettes has led to a string of deaths, as well as hundreds of people, including many teenagers, being hospitalized. National and local leaders, from US President Donald Trump to Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot, are ready to step in.
We must act, and we will.
Lightfoot is among those calling for a ban on flavored e-cigarettes, calling them a gateway for children to get addicted to nicotine.
And so the flavors are what makes students think that this is an innocuous product.
that it's just something that, you know, kind of tastes good, and the students often tell us there's really nothing to this. It's just oil and a flavor. It's like drinking a Kool-Aid when we know that it's not.
The US states of Michigan and New York have already banned flavored vape products, while India has opted for a complete ban on all electric cigarettes.
The global e-cigarette industry is estimated to be worth almost $20 billion, with a huge array of products now available. And some say the backlash against vaping is not justified.
A recent UK government study estimates that e-cigarettes are around 95% less harmful than tobacco.
With all the news that came out, I noticed like we have less new people coming in.
Larry Eng opened Level Vape in Chicago 5 years ago. He fears former cigarette smokers will now return to their old habits.
A lot of people, they probably have just continued to smoke cigarettes because at least they know the outcome of that, and because they're misinformed as to what the real reason is, you know, for the people getting sick.
Many of the illnesses across the US have been linked to those who use e-cigarettes to vape THC, the active ingredient in cannabis. But Jonathan Klein at the University of Illinois at Chicago believes the risk to all vapers remains.
From a medical and from a public health perspective, vaping has really become an epidemic. There are people who were never smokers who are becoming addicted to these products as their first entry to nicotine.
The vaping industry is under pressure, and there appears to be a growing chorus of people lining up against it. Dan Williams, CGTN, Chicago.
And now in the world of sports, Uganda Handball League resumes this Saturday with a number of games, but starting off for the day will be the Makerere University versus Chambogo game, which was rescheduled from last week due to rainfall. By the time the rain poured, the game was in its second stanza and had 10 minutes to play, with Makerere University leading 25-17. The rules of engagement are that the game that ends that way is restarted where it stopped, with the former scores maintained. In other games, the Police Children's School Chivuli Chengeza play Nkumba Tornadoes, Kawanda SS, up-to-date UPDF Ladies, Uganda Police entertains Makerere. In other games, Prisons face Ndeje in an anticipated ladies' tie, while Uganda Police and Makerere Ladies will contest the game for the final day. As it stands, Ndeje University Hoppers lead the men's standing, while Nkumba is at the top of the ladies' category. Dove Chess Academy players and officials have been blessed with an honor from Parliament after exploits in Holland that achieved numerous successes. Details follow.
The prominence that sport in Uganda has lately gained is explained by the number of times it's been positively talked about on the floor of Parliament. In the past, it's been for big-time national engagements and the success thereafter, but now it's back to the grassroots, with Dove Chess Academy appreciated for its exploits at a tournament in Netherlands.
Join me in welcoming two teams of children, the Dove Chess Academy. I don't know where they're seated. Can you stand up? Dove Chess Academy, there they are. Very, very smart with so many medals. They've just returned from the Grandmaster tournament in Netherlands, I think. They brought 8 gold medals. They're here under Focus Youth Forum. They're very, very welcome indeed.
While in Netherlands, a Dove Chess Academy played at the Bontage Youth Chess Championship and won gold. They were represented by 8 players, including Kirabo Abigail, Sozi Aaron, and Roberta Nankunda, many of whom are elated by the visit to Parliament.
I feel so good because it's going to be my first time, and I'm going there as a champion. feel so proud of Uganda and my team, Dove Chess Academy.
So nice and great and exciting and exciting.
The team also played select games against Dutch youngsters and also had a series against Hogenven Chess Club. During the visit, players like Aaron Sozi edged star players like politician and grandmaster Loic Van Ville. John Ban Sentamu reporting.
In more sports news, Uganda Netball Federation publicist Wilberforce Mutete has confirmed that the National League will, after missing last week, be played again this weekend. The games at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, will have action in all leagues, including the Senior Women's League, the Second Division and the Men's League with more than 24 games lined up. The Women's Top League games are, of course, the most anticipated, with the Police versus Uganda Christian University and KCCA against NIC expected to provide fireworks. The league will run side-by-side national team trainings as Uganda prepares to defend its Africa crown next month in South Africa. Well, it's been a marvelous bulletin. Thank you for being with us. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, and on sign language is Elizabeth Nakakoni. From the team and us, it's good night. See you tomorrow.
We started the day with sunny intervals in most parts of Uganda, but then some areas had showers. For example, the western part of Lake Victoria and western part of central Uganda, we had showers. But then later in the afternoon, sunny intervals still prevailed, though some areas, for example, the western part of Uganda, had showers. Thanks for tuning into UBC. It's time for the weather update from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Starting with the report that received this morning, Mbara reported the highest amount of rainfall of 4.9 millimeters, and then Kasese we had 3.5 millimeters. Checking on the satellite image over Africa, it shows that we are still getting winds from Congo. That's why western part of Uganda is having showers, and around Lake Victoria we are being affected by the effect of Lake Victoria to the surrounding. That's why areas around Lake Victoria are having showers. For tomorrow, we are starting the day with sunny intervals in most parts of Uganda. Later in the afternoon, still sunny intervals will prevail, apart from some few areas in western Uganda where we are expecting isolated showers. Temperatures expected to rise to 30 degrees in northeastern part of Uganda, and then in the northern we're expecting temperatures to rise to 28 in our capital city. Temperatures expected to rise to 27. Western Uganda areas like Kasese we're expecting temperatures to rise to 29, and then in Kabale we are expecting temperatures to rise to 25. Going beyond Uganda, areas like Dodoma, Nairobi, we're expecting sunny intervals with temperatures rising to 28. In Kigali, we're expecting cloudy conditions with temperatures rising to 28 still. And then in Dubai, it's really hot. We're expecting temperatures rise to 41 degrees Celsius. That's what we had in our store. For more information about weather, don't hesitate to click on our website. Have a blessed week.
Let me drink one for the road. Let me drink one for the road. Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Whoa, whoa.
No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes. Still I had to try, yeah. Girl, every little thing I do it for you. In every little song I sing it for you.
Wedding traditions and customs vary greatly between cultures, countries, and social classes. On Platinum, we bring you a glimpse of bridal fashion for both men and women, hairstyles, makeup, and shoes, where you can pick a leaf for your occasion. The magnificent Platinum decor. The Platinum cake. The unforgettable moments at our traditional ceremonies. The tridents where we tie our knots. And the party begins.
Hi dear friends, welcome once again to our program, and we are here to bless you today, and I'm sure God can transform your life. Maybe you see yourself in a complicated